You know what the smartest thing you're probably not doing right now is? Governing your own mind. Welcome to This Explainer. Okay, I want you to close your eyes for just a quick second and imagine something with me. And I'm not talking about some distant hypothetical sci-fi movie plot here. This is a very real question based on a seriously powerful TEDx talk by Hala Al-Mukayyed. Imagine our world if literally everything collapsed tomorrow. No Wi-Fi, no food delivery apps, no modern safety nets, no one you could just easily call for help. Who actually survives that kind of scenario?
So let's really dive into this. If everything we rely on simply vanished overnight, who makes it? Is it the person who's always had it super easy? You know, the one whose every minor difficulty was instantly solved by modern convenience and technology? Or is it the person who has deliberately built something absolutely unshakable within themselves, something that just cannot be taken away when the comfort inevitably runs out? I mean, sure, we can buy our way into comfortable rooms today. Money can be inherited, fancy degrees can be purchased. But the ability to face intense difficulty and just not fall apart? Yeah, you absolutely cannot fake that.
And that brings us to the ultimate survival tool for our generation. And spoiler alert, it actually has nothing to do with raw intelligence. It's all about discipline. But let's redefine that for a second. Discipline is simply the ability to act in alignment with your core values despite your impulses, your emotions, or your environment trying to pull you in a million different directions. We are literally in a daily war between what we want to do right this very second and what we know we actually should do. And the scary part? This ability to govern ourselves is being chipped away slowly and deliberately every single day. To really understand how our self-governance is being hijacked, we've got to look under the hood at our own biology. Specifically, we need to talk about dopamine. It's your brain's chemical messenger, your internal reward signal. Now, for almost all of human history, that signal had to be fiercely earned. Our ancestors worked, they hunted, they waited out in the cold, and then they got the reward. That dopamine release was incredibly meaningful precisely because it was rare. It required serious effort. It was literally designed by nature to keep us alive. But today, well, Dr. Anna Lembke, she's a clinical addiction specialist over at Stanford University. She puts this perfectly. She calls the smartphone the modern-day hypodermic needle delivering digital dopamine 24/7. Let that sink in. She's telling us that the biological mechanism of our screen time is exactly the same as substance addiction. We are just flooding our systems over and over again. And when we do that, our brains adapt by artificially raising their threshold. Suddenly, normal, beautiful things like reading a book or just sitting outside, they feel completely flat and boring. Our baselines have been totally hijacked, leaving us in this crazy, paradoxical dopamine deficit state where we are hyper-stimulated all the time, yet completely joyless.
And this dopamine deficit, it is building into a terrifying reality for our daily focus. Just look at this total collapse over 20 years of research by psychologist Dr. Gloria Mark. Back in 2004, people could spend an average of 2.5 minutes on a screen before switching tasks. By 2012, that dropped to 75 seconds. And by 2020, a staggering 47 seconds. In less than 2 decades, our sustained attention has collapsed by more than 70%. And remember, that data is from 2020. Just imagine where we are today.
Now, here is a number that should completely change how you work. 25 minutes. That is the average time it takes for your brain to fully return to a deep state of focus after just a single distraction. Think about what that actually means. When you're studying or working and you decide, oh, I'll just quickly check my phone for a second. You haven't just lost 30 seconds. You have effectively torched an entire 25-minute work session. The system is literally designed to yank your attention away and keep you from doing deep, meaningful work. Honestly, our brains have become so hopelessly addicted to this system that they are actually starting to hallucinate. Come on, admit it. We've all felt it, the dreaded phantom vibration. You feel your phone buzz in your pocket, you pull it out, and nothing. No notification at all. It makes you feel like you're losing your mind for a second. But actually, scratch that. It isn't a tech glitch. That is your own brain. It has become so heavily conditioned to expect that quick digital dopamine hit that it just starts producing the physical signal on its own. That is the undeniable reality of a very, very real addiction. So the big question, why don't we just stop? Well, because we've all bought into a massive societal lie. We tell ourselves, oh, I'll be disciplined when I feel like it. I'll do the hard thing when I finally find the motivation. But here's the hard truth. Motivation is just a feeling, and feelings do not come first. Motivation always follows action. It never, ever precedes it. True discipline isn't what you do when you finally feel ready. It's what you do precisely because you don't feel ready at all.
The speaker from our source material actually does this intense 7-day full dopamine detox a few times a year. No phone, no laptop, absolutely nothing. Now, day 1, it's usually a breeze. You're riding high on the excitement of the decision. But day 3, oh man, that's when the FOMO, the fear of missing out, hits like a truck. Your brain starts bargaining with you, whispering, why are we even doing this? Just one quick check won't hurt? But that exact moment of intense discomfort, the very second you want to quit, that is the entire point. By pushing through the bargaining to day 7, a profound shift happens. The manic rush disappears, and you actually start to experience your life again, rather than just constantly consuming it.
But hey, listen, you don't need a massive, grueling 7-day detox to change your life today, because discipline is a daily practice. James Clear captures this so perfectly in his book, Atomic Habits. He says, you do not rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. We waste so much precious energy fantasizing about this future, perfect version of ourselves who naturally wakes up at 5 a.m. and studies effortlessly. But guess what? That future self isn't magically coming to save you. You become them through the invisible systems you build on a boring, ordinary Tuesday when absolutely no one is watching. Think about it like voting in an election. You walk into the booth, cast a single invisible vote, and walk out. Nothing dramatic changes that very day, right? But a democracy is built on millions of those invisible acts accumulating over time. James Clear applies this exact same logic to our identities. Every single action you take is a microscopic vote for the type of person you wish to become. When you put your phone in another room, you cast a vote. When you choose to read instead of scroll, that's another vote. No single vote transforms you overnight, but over time they build an unshakable identity backed by undeniable evidence. And this completely flips the script on our daily struggles. The most disciplined people out there, they are not constantly flexing some massive heroic willpower. They aren't fundamentally stronger or better than you. They're just a whole lot smarter about their environment. They don't fight their impulses harder. They design their lives so that the impulses barely even arise in the first place. They leave their phone in another room, they put a book right on their pillow. It's an incredibly intelligent shift from constantly fighting yourself to simply designing your surroundings. And the math behind this strategy is absolutely staggering. Look at this number, 37.78. If you rely on those invisible, seemingly boring daily choices, like optimizing your environment, and you manage to get just 1% better every single day for a full year, you don't just transform a little bit, you become almost 38 times better by the end of the year. That compounding effect, that is exactly where true, lifelong change actually lives. Which brings us to a total redefinition of what intelligence even is for the modern era. We're taught our whole lives that intelligence is a grade on a test or your rank in a graduating class. But a score only tells us how you performed on one specific Tuesday. The absolute highest form of modern intelligence is actually metacognition. It is the ability to step back, observe the chaotic urges and discomforts happening inside your own mind, and consciously choose your response. Every single time you feel the pull of a notification and you actively choose to let it wait, that is metacognition in real-time action. That is you actively governing your mind instead of just suppressing it. All right, so how do we practically apply this today? Let's get into some highly actionable protocols, starting with a tactic that is especially game-changing for Gen Z. If you're constantly being pulled away by social media, I want you to do this right now. Move all of those apps into a single folder on the very last page of your phone and turn off every single non-essential notification. What you are doing here is brilliant. You're adding just one extra second of friction. That single extra tap creates just enough mental space to turn a mindless, automatic reflex into a conscious, deliberate choice. And for the adults, the parents, the teachers tuning in, here is your specific protocol. First up, you need to identify your specific numbing agent. What is the exact thing you immediately reach for when discomfort, stress, or boredom hits? Is it endless news scrolling? Is it binge-watching television? Whatever it is, I challenge you to commit to going just 24 hours without it. In that time, you will inevitably come face-to-face with the underlying feelings you've been running from. And honestly, that is exactly where the real work of self-governance truly begins. Now, if you want a lifelong system that actually sticks, here are the 3 steps you need to hardwire into your brain. Step 1. Stop relying on willpower, because it is a finite resource and it always runs out. Step 2. Constantly ask yourself throughout the day, what does my environment make easy right now? If your phone is the first thing you see on your desk, your environment makes distraction effortless. And step 3. Fiercely protect the first 30 minutes of your morning. Before the world's demands and screens start pulling at you, do one intentional act. Read, sit in total silence, stretch, just to firmly put yourself in the driver's seat of your own day.
And, this matters far beyond just optimizing your own life. If you have kids or students, remember this. Young people are watching what you do when you're exhausted, not what you say when you're preaching. They aren't really listening to your lectures about discipline. They are quietly observing your daily habits when it's inconvenient and when no one is forcing you to be disciplined. By designing a better, more intentional environment for yourself, you naturally become a role model actually worth watching for the next generation.
So, we're at the end here, and this brings us to our final thought. The ability to sit with discomfort, to take action without waiting for motivation, to consciously choose discipline over a cheap digital escape, these are the things that guarantee your survival and your success, no matter what collapses around you. Your life isn't built in massive, dramatic, movie-like moments. It's built in the tiny, boring choices you repeat every single day. So I'll leave you with this question. It's not about what you want to become, but what are you willing to do consistently to actually become it? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer. I really hope this helps you build an environment that truly serves you.